I don't think they mean it, but
No, no, no.
it is their truth, right?
It's true. No, I mean,
People
listen,
walk
I
up
don't
to
think
me
he
and
was
go,
being shady, but it was
"We had
true.
to read one of your books when I was in the sixth grade." I'm like, "Stop it." I was like, in the
Well,
sixth grade. That's great.
Oh
The
my
sixth. Okay.
God.
I love that for
good
you.
day, good night, good evening, good night, good morning,
Mm-hmm.
good afternoon, and welcome to a lost episode of Real Tennis Podcast. Like Federer, we are the Roger Federer Tennis Podcast. So we show up selectively and in special occasions and we make our presence known and we are the highlight.
And we
Okay.
got on a
We're not
nice
gonna talk
suit.
about old because someone told me recently, I just like, it was an older person, and the person said, I like how you're saying like an older person, like you are not an older person. And I was humbled. I was humbled. So when I see Carlito talking about Nole when, like 16 and whatever, I have seen Nole done everything. Like I have seen Nole come on tour, quit in matches. And I was like, oh yes, oh my God. Yes. You are really 16 years younger than Nole. And
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
you really are that. And I have been watching tennis for longer than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
Because I remember
were
when Juan Carlos
born.
came on tour. So
Mm-hmm.
We got to
here we
do Juan
are.
Carlos a solid. Get him a
Right.
drink the next
I
time we see
mean,
him. All
I
right.
saw
my
Juan
boy keeps
Carlos
giving.
and
But
Monfils at the
anyway,
U.S. Open.
Oh my God, that's one of my favorite matches. One of
Oh,
my
12
favorite
doubles by
live matches.
Monfils. Mm.
Woo, that was a brutal match. But listen, that was when Monfils was trying. Okay, that was woo,
And it was like 1,000 degrees in that
it
match.
was ridiculous in there.
when
Whew.
2015?
No, that was 2012, I
Maybe
think.
2012, 2012,
Yeah.
2011, 12,
Oh,
something like
2011,
that.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think they did a repeat. Because then he had another one the following year or something. It was really close. Whew, wonderful, wonderful matches.
so Palmer Max said, where y'all have been?
Honey,
We're not gonna get into that. We've been living life, okay? We've been living.
living off the
But
grid.
I'm so excited to be back here with my favorite tennis people. And before I go any further, let me introduce my co-hostesses with the mostesses. We have Andrine from Solely Tennis Travel.
Whoop,
How are you
whoop.
doing, ma'am?
I am doing very well, very well. I'm on a high without drinks. I
As
love
you
it.
should be, as you should be.
Yes.
We have Janina from Farron, Ohio. How are you doing, girl?
I'm amazing.
You're wrong.
It's a good day in the hood.
It definitely is a great day. We have, of course, Reels, a homosexual podcast, and we invited a special guest, Howard Bryant from ESPN and all over the world of tennis and baseball, folklore, and history, is here to join us today for a monumentous occasion. I
Really, it
mean,
is.
and not only because the podcast is coming out and it's live, I'm just letting you people know, don't have any expectations, okay? Just don't, okay? Just don't expect this to be a regular con. But this was an amazing way to end this tournament. I thoroughly enjoyed this match, I have to say. I watched all of it. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I think after the first set, I was like, Carlito, we ain't coming out here to do this. We are not gonna be bagel and breadstick. We are not gonna have Nolan stomp on our ground and act like you ain't shit. Like I know, I mean, the way Nolan started that match today was fucking insane. And it wasn't like Carlos was playing badly. That's just the thing. It wasn't like he was choking. He was really trying to do something.
He was
And
trying to
Nola
do
was just
too
like,
much. That's what he was doing. Let's get it right. He
I
wasn't
am.
Nola
choking.
was like,
He
no,
was doing he was nervous. He had a lot of nervous energy. I think that was clear. And he was overhitting the ball. And once he calmed down, we were good to go.
Well,
I
he
am
even
looking
said it.
forward to this because I was driving back from Vermont at a wedding in the treacherous rain and flooding,
Oh
and I was
Lord.
just sort of sneaking a look, and I
and
was
they
like,
said she
five
got
nothing.
married anyway.
I know, right? I was like, hey, it was the families. It was the families. I'll just put our business in the street. It was the family's first gay wedding,
Oh, I love
and
that.
it
Congratulations.
was phenomenal.
Yes.
And as we knew it was going to be, my favorite cousin got married, and she was tremendous.
Love
However,
it.
I will say, just like weddings and funerals, a lot of story value in there.
Always,
A lot of
always.
story value. Who was there and who wasn't there, and
Oh
why
Oh,
wasn't
shit.
you
oh,
there, and the
oh,
whole
oh.
thing.
I
I
love
Um,
went
it.
to a baby shower recently and I was just like, wait. this is my first baby shower. Y'all let these things happen? Like, why? The amount of drama that be in these things. And this wasn't even a big thing. I'm just thinking, why do you people do that?
Because that's
Like,
what
y'all could
family's
just
for.
Because that's what
Soap
family's
opera.
for.
y'all
And
could have just kept this cute and send out notices and people might send you something.
and send you
But
some
to
stuff.
put people in a room, they're
Mhm.
gonna be in your business.
So,
A business you didn't even know you had
Howard,
business.
how are you watching? You
So I
grabbing like
wasn't.
little
I was
breaks?
sneaking. I was sneaking some scores in between, getting pelted by rain. And the very first score I saw was 5-0 first set. I'm like, oh no! And then I was following the second set, and it was tight. And then when I saw Alcaraz win the second set, I was like, I gotta get home. I wouldn't. And I got home. I got home in the middle of the 27-point game.
Oh my
I'm sorry,
God.
the 30-point game.
That's when I started. I was like,
Same here.
what
I
is
turned the
going
TV
on?
on, and I think it was a 7-minute game when I got in. And I was like, this is
Let me
incredible.
tell you, this is crazy because Nole played this, I think, against Nadal in 2011 US Open. I left work, came home, got a train delay, stuck on the train, and they were still playing. When I got home, game point Nole ran away with that first set. I think Nadal was up 2-love. And then Nole won 6 straight games. And this is when Nole was just like, yeah, Nadal.
That was 2011. Exactly. That was 2011. That was the beginning of the monster.
Exactly. And hard code. Nadal, I don't think Nadal has ever beaten him in hard code ever again, right?
He beat him once. He's
Once.
beaten him
Once.
2013. He hasn't beaten Djokovic on a hard court in 10 years.
Poor thing.
Ridiculous.
He hasn't gotten a set off Djokovic on a hard court in 10 years.
Are we
Poor
sure?
thing.
Man, that's
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
Howard
so.
would know.
I know it's
yeah,
I
that's
know
an
it's kinda
incredible
bad,
stat.
but
No.
Howard keeps saying that, and then I go back and I check, and I just like, you're absolutely right. Like,
I mean, it's even worse than that, but it's bad. I mean, go look and he hasn't even. I think he's only gotten 4 games, like 3 or 4 times. I think in that ATP Cup they played
Yeah.
Yes.
before the
Yeah.
Australian Open. I think they played a 7-6 second set, but other than that, it's been.
So
a
which is
beat
worse,
down.
y'all? I'm asking everybody these things lately. Is it worse to be in a position like that where you didn't even take a set, or is it worse
Yes.
when you have match point down like Federer, and you still
Yeah.
come back and roar and win this damn thing on grass? Because I tell you, these matches have been painful as a Fed fan. Whew.
I think it's worse when you get nothing because when you get
you just know it's over.
something,
You're getting whooped.
yeah, when you get something, you feel like you at least have something to hope for. Like maybe they'll take this match point, even when they have like 11 billion of them and they don't take any of them, at least the opportunity was there.
Now,
I
can
don't know
throw
what
one thing
Rafa
out at
fans are.
everybody right now, just
What?
quickly. This title belonged to Novak Djokovic, but to me, it belonged to Djokovic for one reason, only one reason. And it wasn't because I didn't think Carlos could win it. It was because it was just a little too soon for him
Carlos, yeah.
for grass.
Mhm,
I
yeah.
think I have no problem with him being a favorite in New York,
Yeah, for sure.
but here,
This
where
was
no-
only his 4th.
exactly.
Didn't he lose?
and
He
what's
lost in the
crazy-
first
what's
round last
crazy-
year.
Last year, yes, he did. And then
Oh,
I think
wow.
and then people were saying, and I remember him saying, "It's okay. We will have other tournaments. It's fine. It's not that serious. Grass is not my favorite tournament. I lost in the first round, had a great French Open. There is nothing for me to feel bad about this result. Moving on." And he won the US Open. And I saw, I mean, WT, get your shit together because, I could watch any ATP match I want to. Okay. They got cameras in Mallorca. Okay. I watched Chris Eubanks win. That's just to tell you, that was a scrub league event. But, I saw him winning Eastbourne, and you could literally see him working out. How do I move on this surface?
Yep.
I can't do the same thing I'm doing on clay. I can't slide into shots as I can on hard court, which was crazy to imagine you can do. But you could see him figuring out, when I can go for shot, what I can do here or there. Of course, he's a drop shot dragon, the new drop shot dragon.
Yeah, that
So,
was well played.
And
how
wasn't
to
afraid
try to
of him
work
even
that
after
out.
the first shot.
Listen, Carlos wasn't
finish
afraid
that
of them when
game.
he was down break points.
That's
I was
what
like,
I'm-
honey, are we doing this?
We are doing this.
But
And-
Carlos-
this is what I love about Carlos. It's just like, look,
Yeah, you
I
may as well be
cannot
fearless.
be out here and slug out every fucking 20 shot rallies. This is stupid. My body cannot hold this up. And therefore, I have to be daring. I have to, because you cannot win these matches prettily and stroke. Like, look at Federer.
Well,
you can't do that with
that's
Nola.
right.
You have to get magic.
creative.
You have to get luck. You have to get creative. You have to get chances. Shit have to break your way sometime. And Carlos says, I might miss some, but I'm not gonna miss all.
See, but
I
here's
think
the
miss
thing,
that,
all
Rails.
of these.
we haven't seen somebody young like come on the scene like this in a long time. It's unusual, but it isn't unheard of. And
No.
I think that, he's the real fucking deal.
Well,
And we've
yeah.
been watching him progress. So if you really think
Very
about it,
quickly,
we're
though.
not
Oof.
surprised.
No,
I mean, y'all might have been a little surprised given our chat today that we were having in the group, because all three of
Wow,
y'all
Janina,
bitches
I was
was
gonna break-
basically like, he's gonna lose, and I was the
I
only
did
one
not
saying,
say he was
I
going
don't.
to lose.
No,
I
no,
said he
none
was
of us
on
did
life
that.
support,
We-
and he
we-
was on life support.
Yeah,
He's
and
Oh,
we
winning.
I'm
said-
sorry. I didn't feel like he was on life support when you
Of
said
course he
that, but
was.
I was
Yeah,
interpreting
he was
all of your
Janina,
interpreting all of your comments as ye of little faith.
No,
he's
Listen
a
to me.
point away
There
from
was no
0-2.
doubt. There was absolutely no doubt that Nola came out here to embarrass. Nola has embarrassed all these young children. They have never been the same. Look at Dennis Shopper. They are done. They don't even know where their ass is from their elbow at this point. Nola's intention was to break them. He said this out loud.
Stefanos.
I'm coming out here for blood. I'm hungry. He didn't even mention the Grand Slam shit because that was not even the point, because he thought that he was going to win this title. I mean, honestly,
Oh, I'm sure he
that
did.
first
And
set-
he had
You know
every
what?
reason to believe it because he
No, I'm
wins
saying
fucking everything.
I'm saying on the chat, that's exactly right. Federer came up with the saber, and that was the season of surprises against Nole.
Yep.
You got to change it up. I mean, that's what's fun about Carlos's game is he has. I mean, I know I was talking to Bridge P about this week, and we were saying, she's like, I'm almost embarrassed to say this, but he does have an all-court game.
He does.
He is creative. He'll do what he needs to do. He'll rush up to the net.
Exactly.
He'll get some slices in there. Like, he's willing to try everything. And I'm happy to see, though, that he's not throwing his body around like he did last year. He's being a little bit more composed.
I said this to Janina all the time. I said, the thing about I find interesting about Carlos that I love is that he's only doing the things that I need to do to beat the person in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm not out here trying to create some pattern constantly, like I'm going to break every single person down, rally after rally after rally. If I know you don't move, like Stefanos does not move for drop shots anymore. Again, like if he's playing Carlos knows all I gotta do a drop shot. Stefanos is done. It doesn't work because he knows I come in, I'm gonna be embarrassed. He's just like, you know what? Let me just try to go for an outright winner. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Look at Medvedev, who is creative as well.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Can we throw three things out here though that I think are really important? Number one, Carlos Alcaraz throws away the fourth set, not because he was trying to, but because the pressure that you got to do so much. I think Real, you said it in the chat. You got to be perfect against the guy. You can't be perfect against Nole for 4.5 hours. So, he had that dip in the fourth set. He's a point away from 0-2 in the fifth set. He knocks off 18 winners in the fifth set to Novak's 4. Here's a guy who's
for the large majority of the set, Nole had 0 wins.
I know.
Exactly.
No winners. That was interesting.
So once he got back to getting offensive, he was like, you know what? I can win. And the belief in winning, we've outside of the big three. Now, okay, Medvedev got Novak in New York.
But even he was feeling it towards the third set, right? He was like, I didn't know if I could keep going.
But Stan Wawrinka is really the only player. I know Murray beat him twice in majors as well, but
we don't count those.
But Wawrinka really is the only player who's like, I'm bringing everything to you that you're bringing to me. That's the first point. The second point is the argument that we've been having the last 2 weeks for the entire fortnight has been the limited nature of the game itself of these young players. Yeah. And when you look at what these guys are doing, when you look at what Novak, Rafa, and Roger do, they have plus everything plus serve, plus forehand, plus volleys, plus net game, plus transition, plus overhead, except no leg. But all of it, they do everything. They do everything at an A to A minus A plus level. And that's the difference between Carlos and his peers right now.
Yep.
This kid works at everything. He's not just going to beat you on the baseline. He's going to play every type of style and use everything you need to win tennis matches. And then the third thing,
this current era of tennis matches, I think
that's
he's
right.
like,
Well, what you said, what he's going to do, what it takes to win. He's not going to do the I'm just going to play my game and my game's going to overcome your game. He's like, no. I'm going to play the shot that you need to hit to win this point, and I'm going to be able to do it. The third point, and Andrina and I were talking about it before we got on this call, is when Janina said, yeah, it's not unheard of. We really do at some level need to take a step back and realize that this last decade and a half of tennis has completely skewed how we look at tennis. Let's go back to 2018, where it was the 36 soon to be 37-year-old Serena Williams against the 20-year-old Naomi Osaka. The 20-year-old is kind of supposed to win this. Right? If we are going to change the guard, but this generation is like, nah. You know,
they haven't even decided to compete.
Exactly. And the women have been better at it than the men, because at least the women have. Now I know Reels feels differently about this because he thinks Serena just didn't bring it, but at least they got to Serena at her late stage in those finals.
I think the
and they beat her.
Well, the difference, I think, when Reels says this, he's saying that those women show up and compete.
But he's also saying, I have to speak for Reels. He's here.
Sorry, Reels.
But I think when we talked, you were thinking more that Serena didn't quite show up.
But no, I mean, it's not even that. But I think it goes back to a point you made earlier. Like, Serena is on borrowed time. Nole, Federer, Nadal, they're on borrowed time. Steffi Graf retired from tennis at age 30. Or 31. Around that point, she lost. I think she gave up after she lost the 99 Wimbledon final against Lindsay Davenport, having just won her 23rd major in the French Open finals against Martina Hingis. So I really think that, that the best in tennis retired at early 30. These people were on borrowed time. I think Serena, had these girls met Serena at their peak, they couldn't. And to Serena's credit. And to Serena's credit, where are these girls now?
That's right.
They're out here struggling, one on ban suspension, having babies. They're just not, they were not, they just got in the moment and got Serena at that moment.
And never maintained it after, except for what?
And they can't maintain it.
Yeah,
well, that's right. But it also goes back, Andreen, to a point we were talking about when I saw you in LA. Novak Djokovic, I believe I don't remember where he said it. Was it the Breakpoint documentary? Or he said it somewhere where he said, I am here to write the history of tennis.
I don't even know what that means.
Right? What he's saying is, I want everything. I'm here. You can't do this without me. And I believe that in Serena, even though she never really articulated it that way, but it was true. That was sort of true of Roger. That is sort of true of Rafa. And Carlos is really the only player of the young guys, to Reels' point, like, where are these girls now? How many players on tour are here to take everything that the game is offering
instead of being grateful just to be there?
Right. But I also think it goes back to the point where you talk about the plus thing. I think what the other players don't have that Carlos has is the ability to do everything.
To do it. Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of, you could see holes in these people's game, like, bro. Like, you look at Rublev, you can literally see the wall that Rublev is hitting. But that Rublev is not that he's mad.
And this is a Rublev fan podcast, okay?
Yeah,
look at Sinner. Look at Sinner. Every time he goes to the net, I cringe, and I love him. But I'm like, God damn! Somebody teach this boy what to do at the net.
Well, I think one of the biggest problems with a guy like Rublev is that I don't think his forehand is nearly as big as he thinks it is. It doesn't give him as much as he thinks it does, and so therefore his transition games look even worse because more balls come back against better players.
Because when he's losing, his forehand looks like weak sauce.
Mhm.
You know, because
Exactly.
you're like, wait a minute, why is it?
Did you
Why
see
are you
that Carlos
scrambling?
cross court on the 30-15 point today?
I know.
Carlos comes up with stuff that looks like
And
fucking magic.
Yeah.
but
That is
this is
the
where
tennis that I miss
Yeah.
because even though Rafa really changed the game by pushing everybody back on the baseline, like we just said, he still has the whole game and can do whatever he needs to do when he needs to do it. He still has the ability. And that is why I think a big part of why everybody um, in this current generation plays so much from the baseline because that's what they had to do to try to hang with a Rafa, a Novak.
Well, I mean,
no,
it's
But they
like you
can't.
can
But
no,
tell.
they
I
can't
I
come
just think
up.
that I think sometimes I wonder, it's the thing where you see somebody doing something and you think that is a sexy thing. It's like fashion, right? I see acid wash, I don't see it, but people see acid wash and be like, yeah, I gotta get me some of those. And I think a lot because Andrea and I spot this like I think 2014, 15 US Open. We're watching young, I think Mikael Ema was
Yeah,
playing.
Raquel Emer.
And literally, these people are coming up to the service line to
Yep.
hit a ball and then go back.
Yep.
They just rallying the ball, and it's just like because that is what Nadal and Djokovic are doing at this point, right? Federer
Right.
at this
And they
point
see
is
them
old,
winning doing
and they
that to
see them
people.
winning, and that is what they're saying. No one is teaching the basic. I
Yeah,
watched
and
this morning.
I think when they do that, I don't think they know what they're looking at because I think that when you look at Rafa from 2005 to 2009, 2010, Roger was embarrassing him by forcing him to be a better player. You look at Novak, where Novak went from 2010 to 2014.
Hmm.
These guys got better. They didn't sit there and go, okay, my game is
Well,
my
they may
game, or I'm
have the
just going to
money and
stay
the
in the
resources
baseline.
to do that.
And
But
they have the
this
money.
morning,
Well, I think they all do now,
there
right?
is that, but there's interest, right? There's interest in bringing variety to your game because even let's talk about Chris Eubanks' run. Someone Seymour wonderfully mentions it. That's what was distinguishing Chris's game. He was taking
He was
risks
all
out
over.
there.
He was
He's
He
all
was
all
over.
like,
over the
he's
court.
like, here's a short ball.
He-
I'm coming in. He's
he's
like
doing
that
everything.
lacing that backhand, those cross
Exactly.
courts. He
And
was like, let me
perfect for
go down.
grass.
Yeah, like he
And I
really
am
stepped
swinging through.
in.
I am hitting through that backhand, one-handed backhand. Do
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
not let that ball.
he was using the surface and he was also playing to the surface. Like I actually have been excited to see specialists start to emerge again. I'm like, great, you're going to disappear at grass season? All good, boo. I love that for us
Yes,
because that means that
some
your
new
game
names.
can't, you know what I mean? Like it means that your
Yeah.
game is stalling out. I want that. I want to be rewarded with the bright brand of tennis for the surface. I do
Yeah.
think that there's an interesting thing that happened during that era, right? There was the big three era. They kind of, not Federer, obviously, because he was too old by then, but I think felt like they all started to play a similar type of game
They did. And then
for
Trina,
a while.
you also have the
Because
opposite effect
Nadal,
as well, which is when you get to grass, suddenly you have guys who are threats that haven't been threats all year.
Exactly. I
Right.
love when that happens. I want that. I want
and
more of that.
and you notice that happened at the French Open this year because they extended the Master Series, right? They give them
Yeah.
2 weeks,
Yeah.
and so players were like, "I could rest tomorrow, okay? I
Mhm.
don't have to be out here slugging my way out." And at the French Open, so it sort of allowed for people to come in because we didn't have this back in the day because you had to play best of 5 sets to win a Masters. Like
Yeah.
you
When
couldn't,
Masters do. Mhm.
you couldn't win all of this shit all up in a row and being like, "Yeah, I'm the greatest ever." But I do think that to your point, I was watching this morning Agassi versus Sampras 1992 3, one of those finals, a 95 final I think it was,
US Open.
and US Open. Listen, they hated each other and I loved it.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
the best.
juicy, it was spicy. It
Yes.
was you could see that Agassi hated every piece of Sampras, and Sampras is like, "Bitch, you are not going to win
I
here
love it. You
today.
cannot pass. That was my
You
favorite.
cannot pass." But what was so interesting about the thing is that the variety of these two players
Yep.
Yeah.
of trying to, and the court was quicker. That was definitely helpful.
Yeah.
And these people were like, "We can't be out here rallying on. We can't have 20 stroke rally on this thing. We have to think about seeing the ball in different dimension, use different part of the court." I mean, there were like some slices and like, and everyone talks about Pete's forehand. Pete had a fucking backhand. You can't win 14 majors albeit on hard
backhand.
court surface, without a backhand. You just can't. It's not Steffi Graf. Like, he was really hitting through, and it was just like, where is this? I need this back on the men's tour. I need
Yeah.
quicker surfaces. We can't.
Yeah,
I don't
100%.
want to see. I can't see 20 shot rallies every fucking point.
Also because they're not that interesting. I'll be honest. I mean,
Yeah, it's boring.
I know people don't like Runa, but even he is trying to do something interesting. I mean, he wails on the ball, but like, you got to do something out there. Like, I cannot take the back and forth, bang, 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 bang. Your personality
Well, that is the reason, Andreen.
and
Isn't
your
that the reason?
I think they're gonna have to, if they continue this way, I think they're gonna have to change how you
Something up.
get new balls.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to.
Andreen, isn't though that the reason why the Djokovic Murray matchup is no good? They play the same style.
So
They would just
horrible.
sit there and hit. It's like a practice session. I'm like,
And it was error fest. It was those matches were won by errors and were less errors. And those matches are really bad because remember, Murray was great when he first came on tour because he seemed like he was going to be really interesting in terms of the style and brand of tennis he played.
Yeah,
and I remember there was a critique that Federer offered him, which was like, and it was like sort of like, he should change it up a little bit more, do some, and of course Murray decided then that he wanted to outgrind on the tour, right? Yes. And that's what Lendl brought to him, and that's what allowed him to compete. But it also robbed him of a long, I would say a long, meaningful career, but he's still grinding it out there. So, good on you,
What
Murray.
robbed him of that long, meaningful career was the fact that when he saw that shot at number one, he played every single Asian tournament. He played every. I got one shot.
He was playing black hat. Listen to me. There was a tournament in downtown Shanghai. He was there. In Guangzhou, I am.
That's
there
why his ass ain't got no hips now.
He crawled. But also Martina
Hingis.
He crawled.
Martina Hingis did that as well.
That's
Martina Hingis remained at number one for a very long time. And let me tell you something, Martina Hingis did not win another major after 1999.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, can I throw one other thing out here too, just because I'm curious about how this group feels about it. I have to admit that I sort of enjoyed what Djokovic said afterwards in his post-match. I thought he handled it really well. Mm-hmm. And how can a guy be in essentially demon mode for 2 weeks and then handle defeat as graciously as he did? I thought that the thing that he said that was most interesting is this very point that you were making, Andreen, which is when he said it, I didn't think I had to worry about you on grass.
I loved that. No, you know what? I loved that. I was like, yes. And those are even though he was gracious, he was basically like, man, I got fucked because I didn't take you seriously.
Exactly.
And lesson learned. And I loved that he said that. I really did. I appreciated that. I was all for his speech until he started crying. I'm like, bitch, sit down. This ain't your moment.
No, listen, I love a cry. I love a cry in Nole. It's my favorite Nole. I will say, though, I thought what was noteworthy about that for Nole, well, first of all, Nole, you won in 2020. You won last year. So I don't know why you skipped that year and referenced the year that you beat Federer.
Reminding everybody, you know why? Because every time the biggest moment of this shady ass, the biggest moment was when he was going up against I don't think it was it Rublev who he played last, and right when he was about to serve, somebody said "Vamos, Rafa," and I'm like, he's gonna burn this entire block. And I'm going to remind every one of y'all, not how many I have, but the ones who, remember when I beat Roger down 2 match points, right? He reminded you.
I love it,
but you know that is his fuel, and that's the thing that I can't buy into Nole's stuff.
No, well, I think that Andreen brought it up great, where she said the other day that Novak is defined by the other guys, and it is true.
Always.
I think Reels just said it. That's his fuel.
His fuel. Because I tell you, if he was...
And you know what? The thing is, it's just a little bit pathetic because clearly you are a phenomenal tennis player. Did Roger and Rafa make you better? Absolutely. You are leading every fucking race possible. Why are you so hung up on the comparison between them?
Exactly.
Get over it. Just get over
you know what
it.
he wants? He wants it is.
He wants the admiration that the other two have, and he's never going to get
the thing that
never
dictates everyone always gets. You want to be worshipped by a god, and even all gods have blasphemies. People blaspheme against even the gods.
I can't
So
stand you.
you are never going to get, because I mean by all metrics, right? The major counts, the weeks at number one, like Masters,
The number of
week,
Masters, yeah.
the master, whatever metric, he has done them, he's beaten them. I guess he has a winning record against all of them. And I think by far the only time, honestly, when Nole is Nole, the only real competition of the big three plus Murray, and I would add stand to that conversation, is really Federer. It's only Federer will give him
Federer
a tight match where he has to think about what he's doing. He can't like out muscle them. Stan is out muscling his ass. And I'm going to say he gave Murray 2 majors, but that's a whole other
The
conversation.
thing that I remember, the thing that I got,
But he doesn't. But he wants. I think for him, what I find so crazy is that he wants everyone to admit it. Boo, no one. There are people who still gonna be out here talking about some Tracy Austin being the best female player ever. They just got people who love who they love, and that's it.
Exactly. And you protect your own time, right? You protect your time. But whenever you came to the sport is your favorite era in the sport. Whoever brought you into the sport is going to be the person that you love. Because you protect your time. Because
in every sport.
Exactly. It's what made you show up in the first place. The thing that I really thought was interesting about today is the reason why Roger is the only one who can really, really push Novak. And obviously Roger loses at the end because he just can't sustain it defensively. But offensively, he can push Novak because Novak can't get into his service games. But what I saw today was Carlos was making Novak work on serve off of clay in a way I've never seen.
Yeah, in a while. Yeah.
I mean, not in a long while, where he's not just, because he's serving at something like 92 or 93% holds on grass. Mm-hmm. And you got to play a 27-minute game on your own serve.
I think that's wild. I think that's why that game was so important, right? Because after a while, you thought to yourself, well, this doesn't make any strategic sense for you to try to hold this long.
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
Mentally
let
shift.
It go.
Let it go. Something was,
or win the game,
or win it. But there was something important. No, because by after he lost that game, Novak was done.
He was done.
Like, he was over in that set. He was like, okay, I can't. He was mentally off. Right. I clearly, and listen, I will take this it was definitely a hampered Nole in that set. He was definitely, that 27 game was like a set. Okay, people, why are we playing the 27 game?
It was the first set. It was the first set. The first set was over in 27 minutes. I'm almost sure of that.
But everybody can get in. Novak can get into everybody else's service games, but you can't get into his.
You can't get into his.
But Carlos got into his on the regular today.
Not only just on the regular, when he's up.
When he was up.
Yes. What he loved, and suddenly Carlos is making it competitive.
And that was what Novak did to everybody else. And the reason why Nadal can't beat, Djokovic off of clay is because he can't get a break point off of clay.
Yeah, this is why I love Carlos the most. He is so like Federer. He reminds me of Federer so much.
He really does.
He turn over I'm not. We're gonna serve. Get this over with, right?
Yeah.
But one of the things that Federer always says, and I think that someone statistically did this. Federer does not lose a return game at love. He tries never to. He said, "I gotta win a point. Just win a point. Start something." And this is also how Carlos
does it too.
And a regular, a 40 love lead as a server against Carlos is not safe until the umpire says game.
Carlos. Well, that's what
Carlos
Novak
chip.
Yeah, exactly. Novak's points.
He gets in your head.
Were always those extended games. Like you weren't gonna just. You had game point, and now you're playing a 40-30 point. You had a 40 love game. And I think that the thing about when Carlos went off and was in danger today, it was because he had lost that attacking style.
Yeah.
When he says his idol was Federer and not Nadal, you can see it that he is here to attack you and get on with it. He's not here to grind you down and then get on with it.
Because that doesn't work.
Style though. It's Juan Carlos Ferrero. Remember, Juan Carlos
Ferrero you
like
cannot grind out here with these people.
Don't do it.
Long.
But he's big and strong enough to do it because
But you know what? No.
Yes,
but he had a grown man body at 18 years old.
Listen, but he is. But you do not want to win. I mean, he did it in the U.S. Open. But this was the Sinner match.
No, that's right.
Oh my gosh, no, we don't want any more of those. 5 hours later, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You don't want to win your slams consistently that way. That's just
But,
No, that's
he
right.
was very quick on the point, and that's what the thing. This didn't feel like a bad 5 hours. Nadal and
No.
Djokovic playing 5 hours is
Feels very-
horrendous.
It feels
It's
like a
Because we're still in the third
lifetime.
set.
It's
Well,
so
can
We're
we-
still
hard
in
to
the third
watch.
set.
Can we
Well,
remark on this a little bit because you're talking about the challenge of the game, and someone else pointed this out, which was that have you take a look at Carlos versus Sinner? Look
Yep.
at the difference. Like, I mean, talk about progression. What's going on there,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Because that match, Sinner, I think actually Sinner was supposed to serve for that match, if I'm not mistaken. I can't
He
remember. It was
did.
like 3 a.m. in the
Mhm.
morning or something.
He sure did.
And he had a wonderful match against Nole last year. But look at the
Mhm.
regression.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look at the regression. I'm just like, what is happening?
I
Darren
think those
Cahill.
losses, I think because
What is Darren Cahill doing?
I feel this about this young generation. I'm TikTok. I mean, like, I don't want to sound like an old person, though I am older. It's because sometimes I see these people really. What I love about Carlos is that, okay, I won the US Open, but I still got to do some work. I still have to work and do better. I think sometimes these players, they think that it's supposed to be given, that someone is going to give them the match. That someone I was watching a match where they felt like, you think the opponent is going to make an error and give you the match,
Yeah,
bitch, you
well,
have to
listen.
win it outright.
That's right.
And I think,
don't- yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Curfew.
Sinner should have taken that match and felt like, you know what, I was right there. I am so close, but I need work to do.
Yeah.
And I don't
He
think
hasn't changed.
he
his
didn't
game.
show, he hasn't
Any-
raised his game.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
also
been-
think that there's something else there too that we saw from Carlos, and maybe we're having a different conversation if Carlos goes out and loses the match, but he didn't lose the match, so we got to see what we were looking for. In that, I believe that Carlos actually believes he can win, and I just don't think that even up 2 sets, whether you're Zverev up 2 sets on Novak or
Dominic.
Sinner up 2 sets, or
Yeah.
or Tsitsipas up 2 sets. I don't believe, and I think it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. I don't think these guys have the types of games that they know they can rely on because they
not at all.
don't
Not at all.
play enough defense.
Not
I think
enough.
you're right, though. I think
know.
Carlos, and
Always
he
thinks
talks
he can
about
win.
it. He always thinks that he can win, and he plays like he always thinks he can win. Today, when he wasn't playing well, I never felt like it was because of Novak. I always felt like it was because of himself.
I thought it was because of the
that's
moment.
what.
I thought.
Yeah, I think he got.
Yeah,
I think in the beginning, the moment got to him, and he had to get rid of those nerves. And then when I think at the end of the fourth, when he should have won, I think he let himself think, "Holy shit, I'm about to win
I'm about to
Wimbledon."
win Wimbledon. Yeah, exactly.
I never
but-
felt like Novak was taking him out of his element. I always felt like it was him,
Yeah,
and he
I
just
mean, he
needed
was
to calm
competitive.
down
He was
and
competitive.
readjust. He
But-
was.
right.
But you got to
I-
remind
Sometimes
yourself
you
to
see,
keep
but
attacking.
sometimes you see Novak, or in anybody really
They
can
retreat.
take someone else's
Yes.
game away from them. We know how good Novak is. We know that he can raise his level, but I just didn't feel like that was the case today. Even when you saw Novak raising his level,
He did, which he did
Alcaraz
in
was
the fifth.
raising with him.
I think
Absolutely.
Right,
Alcaraz-
which I think goes back to your point, Howard. I think those other players you mentioned of Tsitsipas and all those people, I think those players, they have a limit of where they can go. And sometimes
Yep.
when you think when Stefanos was up 2 sets to Nole was like, this is the best you can do, and I know you
Yep.
can't go any better.
I get another
And
year.
he just couldn't. He just couldn't.
Well,
Yeah.
He- you know,
And
That's
he's
right.
never been back.
Well, to me,
Yeah.
the bottom
It's just like,
line
he
with all
didn't-
of, Mhm.
go. So I think too, that I think what I love about Carlos today is that Carlos was just like, you know what? I took a breaker from this dude who has never lost a breaker in forever.
Yep.
Shit,
Yep.
I'm in this. I am holding
this.
serve. I am in this.
After being
shit.
down 5-0.
Yep.
Exactly.
I
right?
didn't get steamrolled. Yeah, and I agree. And I still think, though, when you look at these guys, one, I don't really want to talk about Americans because they're American. Two, you start looking at these guys 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". They're just it's big serve, big forehand tennis. And Novak Djokovic is not afraid of big serve, big forehand tennis.
I mean, he owns them.
Exactly. He's like, because all I need is one with you. You're not even trying to break me. You can't break my serve. So, and I know I can break yours. All I got to do is find this. The Hurkacz match was a perfect example of that, right?
Yeah.
Where Novak's playing 65%, and you're like, you got these 7-6 sets, but you're like, there's no drama here. It's a 7-6 set, and yet we know exactly who's going to win this. And the thing about Carlos is Carlos brings another dimension. He brings a Nadal dimension, which is I can break your serve, at least on clay. He brings a Roger dimension, which is you got to play offensive against me. You can't just mess around with me and think I'm not going to turn the defense back into offense. And
there will be unexpected shots. I am not going to
exactly.
I'm not hitting you off the baseline. I'm not interested in that.
No.
But we've spoken enough about the men.
Hold on, one more thing before we move on quickly and wrap. But I know you just said you didn't want to talk about Americans, but I do want to. What Chris Eubanks did was fun to watch.
I put Eubanks in a different category.
But what I'm thinking is I feel like I have been waiting for him for so long. I hope this is the break that he needed. But what he won financially at Wimbledon this year could be career changing.
It could be huge.
And I hope that this is the catalyst.
Man, hope you get to go to a tax attorney.
I got to meet Chris Eubanks last summer at the U.S. Open. He'd won his first Grand Slam match. And I was with him, he and Carlos Fleming, his agent. We were hanging out, and Chris had just walked in after he'd won. And he was completely energetic. You couldn't help but fall in love with him as a player. The reason why I exempted him, and I got to rock, we all got to go, but I got to jump. The reason why I exempt him is because for his game, he played exactly what grass court tennis has to be for a 6'7" guy. He played perfect tennis for what he's supposed to be doing. When he gets on the other surfaces, we'll see.
Yeah, and also I just also love his mindset. I loved his mindset. I loved his analysis of the game, and I loved what he was able to say about how he was able to change things up. I mean, I love a person who can explain their game.
Exactly.
Well, clearly he's intelligent.
And I like that he was really enjoying his tennis.
Yeah,
it didn't feel like he had to prove anything other than he was like, I know I can play good tennis. I want to build it, and I want the fans to enjoy themselves, and I'm going to enjoy myself.
Especially, honey, because we pay money to see you, so please show up.
And he wasn't.
You guys can bye, Howard. Thank you for the invite. I gotta go. Enjoy.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for being us here. So I know Andreen has to leave pretty soon. She has a show to get to, but I just want to say a special word to the ladies. I enjoyed the women's tournament. I was pissed off at Sabs. I feel like I should never watch her matches because I blight her. But girl, Sabs, we keep being
save
so
us from
close.
These bad finals. Oof, you gotta stop.
You could have been the Grand Slam. We could have been talking about you in the U.S. Open. We could have been talking about you. You get to the semifinals and have these moments, and then you let it go. But I have to say that, I hope she feels proud of herself because, she's like, Amelie Morez, my girl, you're going to win this one these days, okay? You keep running into, at least Amelie had Serena. I don't know who you have across in there from
listen,
you.
I'm mad at Ons because you don't take out Sabalenka and not show up in a final, girl.
Oh.
At least I would have gotten some power tennis out there.
You know what? Good for little tattoo girl.
Listen, tattoo girl is all right. We also, I feel like I haven't even had a chance to see Daniel online because that was his girl. Marquetta was his girl.
Oh,
forever.
he did.
He loved her from the beginning.
But I mean, like she just swung with a lefty swing, and I was just like, you know what? That's right. These slice backhanders punch them in the face.
Beautiful hitting. And you know what? And I was like, it was going to be somebody sneaking, but I will say, I bet you Wimbledon breathed a sigh of relief that they didn't have a Ukrainian versus a Belarusian.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Because it was coming, and that would have been a real.
But you know what? Let me just say this, and then let's wrap it up and say goodbye. We had to keep it short and sweet, but I do think that Wimbledon did everybody a disservice because they knew before the start of the tournament that there would be no handshakes between any
Yes.
Russian,
Yes. Let's say that.
Belarusian, and Ukrainian players, and they did not let the audience know that. So therefore, people end up looking like assholes. That was not a good look. That was a poor move on Wimbledon. A lot of aggression could have been
And
avoided by just
tournaments, all
making
none
a
of the tournaments
statement.
have done
Everyone
this.
needs to put a
Just
statement out in the
say
order
this
of
is the way
play.
it's gonna be.
Yes, and then
Period.
educate people because
And this
people are
is fine
showing up at
because
the
y'all are blocking
tournament.
the flags for these countries anyway. So it's
Anyway,
not
you got
like
to
it's
explain that. Exactly.
so you
Yes.
have to explain
Say
that.
what's
It's not like
going
it's a
on.
crazy, you know what I'm saying? It's not like
Which is the point
it-
of the gesture. The point of the gesture is to keep people remembering that there's a war going on. So you can actually aid that by saying that, by actually putting the note out and
and
saying, guess
Cidelina has
what?
been very, and these players have been very articulate how and
About it.
what they're doing. And it
Mhm.
seems so disingenuous for them, you know, for everyone around
For
them
the
to
tournaments to
not be
pretend that it's
concerned.
not happening. I know. And to not put out
Exactly.
a statement and leave those women and with booze and people, the fans
Yeah,
feeling
their
all sort of
opponents as well.
angsty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Like
You
a
put in
horrible
it's
Yeah.
position. I was like, listen,
I felt
why didn't any of the unions say anything up? Why y'all step up
Right.
and
That
represent
was
your
just
I
player and
felt
say
bad
dumb.
for
that?
Azarenka who played her heart out, you know, and lost, and then she's going off thinking, you know, she had done a good job and she had fought her best, and
And
then
she
she
gets
get booed. She's
booed.
like, "What the
But
fuck?
you know
What
what?
What
is
But
is
this
wrong
is
with
but,
you?"
but honestly, this is on the WTA. If the tournament doesn't do it, you write it.
you need to do
You
it?
put a
Yeah.
thing out and post it and say, hey, this is what's
This is
happening.
what's
A little
happening.
insert in the program. You know what? It also gives you some credibility about caring about your players if you really do. And it's just I hate that look. Yeah, we've been
It's not a
bantering
good
about that
look.
all week, y'all. We hate it.
But
But
And
overall,
we've
this
been here
Wimbledon was
before. This is a
good.
It's not random. This isn't just that last week. You know.
no, I
No,
know,
it
but
didn't. But
listen, Carlos, thank you for breathing life into this
Yep.
final. I
it
actually
was
watched
good. I
wonderful
watched it from
matches.
start to finish.
Lovely. We haven't done that together in a long time.
Oh
So,
Lord.
baby, bring that energy to the US Open and let's have a ball because I'm
Oh my
about to
God!
be
Can you
do
there.
it.
believe the U.S. Open going to be $2,000 a ticket now? Listen to me.
What?
His matches. He is not. He's gonna be an Ash every fucking day.
Thank God I took an Ash. Listen, I'm only going to the US Open on Labor Day. Hopefully, maybe we'll see how it feels. But it's true. I now have to move from my favorites. My favorite court, Armstrong, because all my favorites are old enough and stars now, and they never put them on Armstrong anymore. Damn it!
Ugh.
Mm-mm.
These
Bullshit.
are problems.
So
Live tennis
and I
problems.
would say to the rest of the ATP, get your
Step
game
up.
together, okay? Get to the net. Learn how to slice and dice, okay? You can't just be satisfied by embarrassing Rude, okay? That ain't enough.
Okay,
Okay?
can I also just
Dragging Rude is
mention,
not enough.
for all the people who said it in the past, and I was one of those guilty, Nick Kyrgios, this is box office. A smile and a win
Oh
to
boy.
turn you into an exciting player to
Like
watch.
I said, winning
No
covers a
antics.
multitude of sins. Okay,
Honey, and
Carlos is showing up and winning. Listen to me.
listen,
He
and
could
we
have
even
pissed
forget
on.
we even
He
forgive
could
him,
have
and he's
pissed
not
in
even
that
that.
cup.
Listen, I'm
He could
excited
have
for
pissed
him
in that
because
cup
he
today, and it
doesn't
would have been
even
okay.
listen. He's not even problematic. He's not even that exciting as a personality. But you know what's exciting? His game, and I'm
Yep.
showing up for the game.
He's refreshing to
And
watch.
and let me tell you something. Because he's Juan Carlos' mentee, I know that bitch is petty. And you know what he does? He brings it on the court. Because at the end of the day, this is what's gonna matter. You understand
Well,
what I'm saying?
listen, what a
Not having a
turnaround.
Twitter beef.
Yeah,
Twitter beef is bullshit.
but also, what a turnaround for Carlos. To be honest, having that horrible final in Roland Garros and then turning around.
Semis, you
Listen,
mean.
Derek, I'm actually really happy that you said that about Nick. Maybe this will give him a little
Nope.
bit of jolt.
I
But
don't-
anyway,
I doubt that. Nick
that
would
he
never
could
get
win a
in shape.
slam. Yeah, I know. But Carlos,
Doubles,
like,
perhaps.
he had such a horrible Roland Garros, right? And so for him to turn up and show up like he did, more power to him. More power to you
I
to
like
get to
to
that
see it.
final.
To me, just get into the second week, get into the semis, get into the finals. I was
good
like,
enough.
boy, you showed up and you showed out. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
won a set. I was happy. And I was just like, it's a lot for you to be perfect on every single point against Nole, because Nole was trying to beast and bring this ball. But I guess Nole gets into his head a lot. But, Carlos, you stuck with it. And I have to say, this was one of the best
Congratulations.
men's matches I saw in
In
a
a
long
while.
time. Congratulations. I mean, like, with against Nole, I
Congratulations
should
to
say.
us too
One of the
for
best
being able
men's
to watch
matches I
it.
saw with Nole involved. I should
All
say
right.
that.
I mean, y'all got us to do a
Cheers.
podcast.
I
Hot
know.
damn.
I mean, and you know what? Thank you, Carlos. If for nothing else, we don't get a Grand Slam talk bullshit. And I know everyone likes to make the French the outlier, but Wimbledon was supposed to be the like, nope, he ain't get it. It's
It was
done.
not a
Vamoose.
cap on
Over.
anybody's crown. I
Over.
loved it.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
So now we
All
just
right.
gotta look forward to a default at the US Open, and we
No,
will be
stop it.
cute
No,
and
we are
sexy.
not looking for that. We are looking for a battle royale at the U.S.
Girl, I
Open.
want him
That's
out.
what we want.
Okay, just
I want
funking up the
y'all coming.
place. Okay.
Medvedev, get your head right. I want y'all to
Yes.
come for that title in the U.S. Open. None of this BS anymore. Come to win. Not
But
just
no, I
smile
gotta
up in
say,
there.
I mean, I would love to see Medvedev and Carlos in the finals, but their matchup is not a good one. That's like
Oh,
Serena
no. I don't
versus
want that. I
Sharapova.
don't want that. I'd like a
No.
little
Who
surprise.
do I want? Who do we
I
want
like
in
a
the US
Sinner
Open
Carlos.
final?
I want a newbie. Two newbies in the final is what I'm looking for.
Hey,
Give
I'll
me
take
two
it.
newbies.
No, I want Carlos to retain his title. I want Carlos to be because
I know
you
you
know
bet.
what? This on the
We
line.
are a mess. We have been away. Is the podcast coming back? Let's, y'all. One of the things I said to my gang is, can we at least promise Slam podcasts? Can we at least promise
Janina.
Slam podcasts?
Bye.
confer.
Everybody say goodbye.
We will confer and get back to you, loves. If we
Yes,
have
we
missed
will.
you, thank you all for showing
We
up.
have.
This has
Thank
been
you for your
wonderful.
support. Thank you for keeping us in mind. And we still run our mouth on Twitter as long as we can because Elon Musk is musty. So we don't know and racist. So we don't know how long
Well,
we're
there
gonna
went
be
your
there.
account.
Yeah, Sinner is an absolutely great matchup for Carlos. So I would love to
Yes.
see Sinner maybe get a little something in his in
But
his
he gonna
step,
have to
let's
learn
say.
how
I
to play
love
at net though,
Sinner.
because
I
Carlos
know.
would bring him in.
That's
Gotta
fine.
play at
I
net.
want to see it.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
been
All
wonderful,
right.
y'all. Take care.
Yes.
Have a great
Yeah.
day.
Change your coach, Sinner. Don't change your coach. Taylor in it.
Bye.
He in it. Thank you all for joining
Bye.
us, and we hope you enjoy. And comment
Congrats
as
to all
always.
the winners.
And
Congratulations
winners,
to
yes.
Marquita and congratulations to Carlitos. You made this
I
wonderful
forgot who won the
tournament.
doubles. I know a British duo won the men's double. I don't know
Yes.
for the women's
Neil,
doubles.
I think
Neil
won the double.
from
Neil
Kit or
Phillips,
something, yeah.
they won the doubles, and the women are currently in motion right now.
Oh wow, I'm missing that.
Yes,
I'm gonna go check
and
that
an
out.
American. No, was it an
An
American? that
American
won?
girl won the
Won the
girls.
juniors.
Yes,
And
yes,
The
a
yes.
young
I did
little
that.
black girl.
And a young British boy won the junior on the boy side. So we will put
All
those
right.
names in the notes.
And I think the American girl is being coached by Serena's former hidden partner, Jameer Jenkins, or something like
Oh,
that.
fabulous! We'll get
Yes.
some details and get on the road. Have
Coco,
we
get
talked
your
about
shit
on?
together, girl. Get a
Okay.
fucking full hands, Coco. Get a full hand, girl.
Yeah, we love Ons. We think Ons needs to just forget about the moment and continue to do that drive like she did the whole
Get fit,
tournament.
girl. Get fit.
Actually, it's true because Ons was actually spotty before she even got in. So I actually do think that she was struggling a little bit. I'm actually quite surprised she even made it to that final.
Yeah, and that's true. I mean, I think everyone
health-wise.
forget that it's Sabalenka who dropped her level, not
Yes,
Ons who
listen,
raised
everyone's
hers.
saying she raised it, but I wasn't going to say anything about that. But
Sab, can we get our shit together? Because girl, you are box office too, okay?
Yes,
You are the
box
drama. You are full
office.
soap opera. You're
You
a
and
whole soap
Carlos,
opera.
I'd like to see you and Carlos. Oh, we don't dance anymore at the U.S. Open, but let's get to that final and do some things.
Listen
okay?
to me. I know Carlos want to go to the club. Let's. But he's only 20.
All right, I
so
gotta
he can't
go.
go to
Lord.
the club.
All right.
But we
Good
will get a
night.
club for you, Carlos and Sab. Get it going.
Take care, all.
All right. Good night, you all. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I love it. We can even do a minute. All right, I will talk to you later. Bye.